Ezhil from Iconxt YouTube channel. So today we have our Miss Ezhil Bose, who is an legal counsel expert and she has worked with many industry. Her passion is basically solving out the family problems, family laws, marriage issues and all the kind of divorce and breakup problems. So she has written a book based on her experiences called Divine Path to a Happy Marriage in 2023, right ma'am? So Adila, we have 10 chapters where in each chapter is based upon the marriages, divorce and breakups related problems. To prevent those problems only she has written that book. So today we are going to talk about the same problem. So let's start it.
Thank you for the beautiful introduction, Aish.
Thank you, ma'am. So it's my pleasure actually. The marriage problem that this generation is facing right now and how the marriage life was before the 13 and 15 years back.
Okay, today we have been seeing a lot of marital issues more and divorce cases more in the present generation and era. Now, what is the reason is that 30, 40 years back, there was more compassion, kindness and love and affection and everybody were family-wise, they were bonded. So if you see 30 years back, there was always more of, joint families and there used to be elders who used to protect the entire marriage system and the culture. So going for a divorce itself was a taboo basically. So they will not, when you say that I'm going to divorce this person, it was a big cultural issue for the family member. So there used to be a lot of compromises for the children as well. So there were factors that was influencing that there was no divorce and 90% of the people did not choose to go for a divorce when it comes to the marital issues. And when you see breakup also were not much because of the fact that people who wanted to have a love marriage, they were compromising and they had a lot of tolerance level. So that's why those love marriage was also success. But today the success rate of any love and marriage itself has come down. Why? Because for the fact that people have become more aware of what they want in their life. So they know to choose. They know to choose between, whether I'm able to compromise for this person, whether I'm able to tolerate this person, whether it's worth my time and energy. So people want that, most of them to be treated in the right way and to be respected in the right way. So since people have been aware of being respected in their personal life, now people are choosing to break the marriage and the relationship for various reasons. So for them, they choose peace over the relationship. So that's exactly why we are seeing a lot of divorce cases or the love breakups that has been happening in the society. But the sad thing is that before getting into a relationship, after thinking so many things or after choosing peace over the relationship, I would recommend the couples to previously analyze whether they are capable of handling this relationship or working this relationship, because basically a marriage and a love relationship is an emotional investment. So what do we do when we invest in something? We see what is the return that is coming back to us. So when you see the relationship, it should be unconditional. So here what happens is expectations are more. People don't want to give on their expectations. So before getting into a marriage or a relationship, it's better a couple understand that what are they going to invest into and who are they going to invest into, and always understand that they are important than anything else.
So what is the concept behind this investment? I don't think relationship is basically kind of a business. Maybe get on the shareholders to invest into a company or something like that. So why are we expecting in such a way?
Okay, so when I told you that relationship is an emotional investment, so which means you give your time to that person, you give love to that person, you give affection to this person. So what is that in return you will get is a big question mark, right? So we don't need to have 100% return for us. But when we are investing in that person 50%, at least that person should return to us at least 20% of it, right? So emotional investment is where you put your life energy into that person. Now, what do you do when you fall in love or in a marriage? You love that person, you spend time with that person, you take that person out. In fact, you plan your entire future with that person, right? Why? Because assuming that you're going to have a long-term relationship with them. Now, if the person is wrong or person is just coming for your money, not seeing you in an emotional beauty or anything, they're just coming for money and what they get from you. Are they not going to drain your energy? True. Correct. So that's why emotional info, when you said this is not a transaction, yes, it it is not a transaction. But when you say emotional investment, you're investing your life with that person. So you should be super careful in whom you're investing, and you cannot be keep on giving. There should be some kind of love and affection in return. So what happens is, in major of the cases, there is a lot of emotional expectation from one end, and there is a material expectation from the other end. So there is a total mismatch here. Correct. True. So to work a relationship today or get into a serious relationship, money also plays an important criteria. True. Right? You cannot, there's something they call love and pressure. It doesn't happen that way. So emotionally, when you're investing on some person, that person should be worth. Alright. So that is why I say that marriage and relationship is an emotional investment. Invest in the right person who's worth your time and energy. And please understand, it's okay if you choose that person even after 30-40 years, because you'll be matured enough to understand what the relationship is all about.
So will materialistic relationship work?
Materialistic relationship will work. It will work if both are materialistic person.
So as you said now, like if one end is...
Yes. So when we say that there are two people, or two people want to be rich, what they will do? They will not be more emotional, or they will not be emotionally connected. So let's say a man and a woman are from a very rich family, and their focus is more on to be materialistic. They want to grow together, they want to earn together, they want to invest in big things. Their priority for the traditional values and the emotional aspects will be later, right? They will not be doing. So a materialistic person should always search for a person who's with the same goals. There's no mistake in being materialistic at all. So let's say a person is emotionally invested. So he wants a man who wants his woman to be always available. And that person is a very ambitious person, and if she is running behind money, where she will have the time to give time for this man? True. So it will be a total mismatch. So if you ask me that, ma'am, whether materialistic relationship will it work, is that their relationship is a different kind of a relationship. Expectations are different, and the outcomes of that relationship will be totally different. You can see even couples who are business driven and they have goal and ambitious driven. So what they will look for in a relationship, both of them will be business minded person. They'll be earning a lot together as husband and wife, and later on only actually they'll try to build a family. True. Yeah. So I will not say that, when a person, two persons, individual, a man and woman are materialistic, are running behind money, they are not fit for relationship. They are fit for the relationship based on their needs and the outcomes. So it's a match, I will say.
Okay, ma'am, it's actually very well said. Okay, so we just go to the next question, that what do we look into the partner? What are the ideal qualities that we look into our life partner?
So there is first, many people have asked me how to choose a perfect and an ideal life partner. Let me just put a disclaimer very at the first front itself. There is no aspect as ideal partner or a perfect partner. A partner can never be perfect person. A person is always with all the kind of imperfections. So you should choose to understand that person with all that imperfections, because you need to understand there are different kind of relationship. There is a flings or a short-term relationship where only physical comes as a priority. Second thing is a long-term relationship where you're trying to travel with that partner. At that point of time, marriage cannot happen, but they will choose to live in a living together relationship, which is actually legalized in India now. Okay, and the third important aspect is getting into a serious commitment where marriage comes into play. Now, these three has different categories. Now, when you choose into an ideal in a flings relationship or just a casual relationship which does not have any emotional commitment or anything, actually you will not look into the qualities. You will just hang around and you will just have a hi, bye or a casual dinners or anything, dating part, and you will move on. So you don't have to really think about working a relationship in serious aspect. But if you're planning to travel with that person for a long term, or if you're planning to travel with that person in a long-term relationship, what you have to look at it is the negative side of that person. Because you're not going to put up with the positive sides alone. You're going to travel even with the negative side. So it works both the ways. So when you say that whether there's an ideal partner, what are the things that you have to look into is that don't have expectations. Expect that person with minimal aspects. Understand whether you are able to see, for example, let's say you like a person who is very handsome. Okay, his qualities might be totally different. So you get driven and you get attracted with that person because of the looks alone. Okay, but if you see his inner qualities, he will have so much of negative qualities. So will you be able to accept it? So you need to, so you need to wait and you need to understand the negative qualities that person. So they say, don't judge a book by its cover. So most of the time we fall in love by seeing the cover part alone. You don't know what is inside. So it does take a long time to understand the human behaviors and the psychologies that people have. So you need to take your time to understand that this person is right for me. You need to have the compatibility between both of you. Even resolving the arguments or resolving the issues or any differences there, it is an art. You don't have to really fight. There are times where you can still be quiet and handle the issue in a very beautiful way. So please look at the negative side of the partner. Understand whether you can love that partner, whether you have the tolerance and the patience to love that person. Then you decide whether this person is an ideal partner. So please understand there's no question of ideal partner, perfect partner, which is absolutely impossible. Okay. So don't keep your expectations minimal.
But I think we can have something called ideal relationship. So how should an ideal relationship be?
Yes, the ideal relationship should work in such a way where you have a lot of empathy, compassion, kindness. You need to have a lot of tolerance also. Let's say both the partners have differences of opinion. You should give time for people to understand where the problem comes. So an ideal relationship will sustain only when there is a balance between both the individual. There's a stability. So both the individual, it's like, you can't have a sound without two hands clapping together. So basically, ideal relationship can work only when both are ready to work and invest in it. So what are the requirements is basically you should have love, kindness, tolerance. Second most important thing is that both of you should have the same goal. Both of you should have that patience and communication. Take that interest in understanding each other and also try to grow each other individually, personally and professionally. So you need to understand that there should be a lot of self-respect and trust that has to be given into the relationship. If all these aspects and ingredients are there in a relationship, naturally it will be an ideal relationship. But unfortunately, any one of the ingredient will be missing. But the most important ingredient that should not miss, people say that there should be love and affection. The first ingredient that you should not miss out in a relationship is that respect. If respect is not there, you cannot sustain a relationship at all. You can even compromise with a little bit of less love, but you cannot compromise with respect and trust. Without these two things, a relationship can never run. So please understand, in an ideal relationship, people should look each other to grow in a way where you maturize each other's. You should give values to the aspirations and the desires of the individual. Give place for communication. Understand their needs also. So there are a lot of factors, but these are the major factors that is required in an ideal relationship.
Okay, ma'am. So what kind of major or the commonly faced or the challenges faced in relationship?
Okay, the challenges that are faced in a lot of relationship is first and foremost is ego. Ego plays a very important role. Today, men and women think that they know better and they don't give up and they don't have tolerance. So what happens is most probably people have ego, they don't apologize. And they don't try to understand that ego is not going to help in any relationship. If you're going to be an egoistic person, it means that you're giving importance to you alone. Ego is all about me, and me. It's only the world is surrounded you only about you. Okay, so how can you have another person in your life? It's not going to happen. So ego is one of the main challenges where couples break and divorce happens. Second thing is that possessiveness. So people are possessive. They say possessive about each other. So I used to tell many people, possessive means it is a horror term. You can see it only in horror movies. You can see a person is being possessed by a devil. So I always say that when you say that you're possessive over that person, you're holding that person and you're controlling that person. That person will not be able to do anything. Imagine a person is very possessive about you. I'll give you a classic example. Let's say you have a person who is possessive about you, who is monitoring every time where you're going, coming, and he's trying to ask you to report to you. And every time you have to report to that person. Don't you feel that every time you report to that person or anything, you automatically get programmed to report to that person? Correct? You take your phone call and you say that, I'm here, I'm doing this. Without even your knowledge, sometimes without that person asking, you will automatically start reporting to that person.
The system starts working
that way. So why do you have to report to a person? So which means you're giving your control, your energy control to that person. So please understand that possessive is a negative term. You can be protective about your partner to see to that they are safe wherever, in case they are going somewhere or anything. You can be protective about your partner but not possessive. Why? Because it's a energy draining issues. And third important thing, if you see, the space that each other give has become a very big challenge. So most of the time, men expect their wives or their fiancé to give a lot of time to them, and they always put them into this family thing. They don't allow them to grow. Now, because of a lot of women empowerment, people started to believe in women empowerment. Many women are taking this choice of not getting married at all. Now they have learned to be independent. They think that, I don't need a man really in the life. So that is one reason today the relationships have become a challenge. So when a man marries a woman, he should always check whether she's a strong woman. If she is amazingly strong and if she can handle herself, then I don't think so a man can even handle it. Okay, so a man or a woman should stop saying that I'm a man and a woman. It's like, two halves. See, most of the time what happens is that, a man and woman, I used to compare them to India and Pakistan. Both of them are superpowers. Okay, both of them have got their own strengths and their own weakness. But what happens is most of the time they get into the wrestling mode. They don't find peace between each other. So today the challenges come in such a way that they don't give space to each other. They don't understand each other's desire. They don't take the initiative to understand what is the problem. They want to sort it out then and there. Before a problem comes, you need to analyze where is the problem. You need to communicate it with all that patience and everything. So these are the challenges where people find difficult to run a relationship and marriage.
So what is the minimum time gap that one should take after a breakup or a divorce now?
To answer this question, first let me give you an example why there should be a timeline before getting into any kind of a relationship after a breakup or divorce. So let's say you have faced a major accident in your life. What happens is you have some kind of a physical injury and doctor gives the stitches and you have been operated and surgically something plate or something is fitted into you and doctor gives you a time. This will take years together to heal. So till then you have to take care of it well. This is the same kind of theory when it comes to a marriage or a breakup. It is an accidental event that has happened in your life where you have the psychological, emotional injury. So when the physical injury itself has so much of impact, the emotional injury also equally has so much of impact. So it takes minimum of 5 to 6 years to heal a person and come out from the toxic happenings where they had a breakup. Because definitely nobody would have had a breakup happily, right? Nobody would have had a divorce happily.
Maybe the other side would have
happened or anything. But again, the instance is, see, why do you go for a divorce or a breakup? Because something bitter has happened in your life, right? Nobody is going to have a breakup or a divorce because they had something nice. True. Definitely a bitter experience would have caused. So, which means both the partners, of course, the other partner might be having a sigh of relief of, coming out of the relationship. They would be happy. But that bitter experience will be there inside your emotional level and in your mind and in your emotional level in your heart also. So, you need to really heal that relationship. So, which means it was a toxic relationship for you. And you inhale some kind of a carbon dioxide, correct? So when you take up the carbon dioxide inside in this toxic relationship, you will not emit carbon dioxide. You will not emit oxygen. So it is going to be only the toxic thing that's going to come out of you. So unless and until you're healed and you're okay to go for a relationship, do not go into a relationship or a marriage. Till then, take time. Understand what were the lessons that you learned before that breakup. Why that relationship didn't work or why that marriage didn't work. Give time and analyze. Analyze yourself. Actually, a divorce and a breakup can teach you a lot of lessons. It teaches you a lot of lessons of what kind of a person you are and what are you looking for. Alright, so you cannot do the same mistake again. Sometimes we do the investment in the wrong person. So the expectations are high. So let's say you are an emotional person and you want same level of romance and emotion from the other end. You need to find choose a partner exactly like that. So it will take some time for you to heal and everything. And do not go into a relationship because the society is pushing you to. Today, most of the time, in divorce cases, if you see what happens is, let it be a man or a woman, the parents and their relatives say that you have to get married immediately. No, not really. You don't have to really get married immediately. I request the parents and the relatives to allow them and to give them space to heal themselves because they have been already injured. Do not force them to get into another marriage and relationship because the society is going to come and question you, because the society who's questioning you is not going to come and solve your problems at any point of time. So if this understanding is there, we will be perfectly choosing another marriage or a relationship. If you are in a casual relationship, you don't have to bother about the emotional healing at all, because there's nothing injured that has happened. But if you are invested in a relationship, let it be marriage or love, it is definitely an emotional injury and a psychological injury has happened to you. Please respect yourself to an extent where you heal yourself and then get into a marriage or relationship. So don't get into a relationship because you're alone, because your friends has a relationship, or because somebody is coming and asking you to do so. It should be your personal conviction and your decision to get into a next happy marriage and relationship. But before that, heal as much as possible.
Can you give us how do you do the counseling for premarital and postmarital?
So for the premarital relationship, what kind of counseling I do is that, let's say a person is attracted to other person. Now I think everything is open today, and we have come to a junction where we have to openly talk about marriage and relationship. So premarital counseling it more focuses on the dating side itself. So let's say a person or a girl or a boy is attracted to another person, they can come to me and they can analyze and ask me whether they have really fallen in love, how to date. Dating itself is a very big term and people needs training in that. So many people has a misconception that dating means you fall in love. No. Dating is a culture where you get to know that person for a long time, you understand their desires, whether you're compatible with that person. Actually, during the dating time, you should ask what are the negative qualities of that person, because you're not going to live with that positive qualities at all. So it's a negative quality. So you need to date with that person and understand what are the cultural aspects involved in their family. Get to know that person, move with that person in a friendly manner. So that particular thing, training will happen. And apart from that, if there is a couple who had fallen in love or they're trying to get married, so what I do is that I understand both of their psychological upbringing, how they see marriage and relationship as in a perspective. So I can even identify where they will get into trouble after marriage, or where they might face challenges after marriage. So those things, premarital counseling basically works towards preventing love breakups and divorces. So if you take effective premarital counseling prior to falling in love, there are several things that can be prevented. Now, what are the things that can be prevented? You can prevent yourself falling into a wrong relationship or a wrong marriage. So premarital counseling is at utmost importance, where an individual will try to know about himself as well as his other partner. Now coming to post-marital counseling, what happens is there will be several couples who are facing a lot of marital challenges, and there will be couples who can even go to an extent of going for a divorce. Not really all the marriages require a divorce. Now divorce is required only for cases where there is an absolute danger in living with that other person, and when there is any kind of sexual impotence is there, where other person will not be able to give the sexual happiness or something like that. Those are the real criteria for a divorce. But actually, most of the cases in marriage are not actually eligible for divorce. But people choose to go for a divorce only because of the impatientness. So what happens is that in postmarital counseling, we analyze the problem in depth, why this problem is caused, and we ask them to give a space to each other, so that they are emotionally healed from what are the previous drastic issues that the traumatic conditions that they have faced in the marriage. So postmarital counseling helps them to understand whether they are able to sustain this marriage, whether they are able to come back to each other, because there are many cases, even in the court case, people would have got divorced. Again, in another 3 years itself, they would have joined together. So it doesn't make a value. They reconcile and they join. So why? So give that time to each other where you can understand the problem. Still you can work out it, because marriage and relationship is all about you working it out. It's not that easy. It is something like you're going to the gym consistently and develop your muscles and everything. You cannot do it that way. In the same way, you need a lot of workout for the marriage and the relationship. So this postmarital counseling basically enlightens the couples if they are facing any kind of issue, to understand whether they can live with that person or not live with that person. Sometimes the couple, they themselves come to me and they ask that no, we are going for divorce after marriage. Okay, fine. Now when I ask them the next answer will be that I'm ready for another marriage. So if you're not correcting yourself in the first relationship, why do you want to get into another marriage immediately? So the same thing is going to happen. So correct yourself in the first instant itself and then choose another match. So that is all about pre and post marital counseling.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks a lot for sharing all your experiences with us. And I hope even the viewers and myself, we got a good clarity about what relationship and how it's supposed to continue. So if you have any more questions or if you have any other related doubts, you can feel free to ask us in the comment section, and I'm sure mom is there to help us out with it. So thanks a lot, and if you like the video, don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Thank you.